Hi guys, how are you today? I'm excited to be coming your way again today. My name is Happiness Ferguson-Agbeyisanmi. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that responded on my last post, thank you for your engagement. Your comments were so beautiful and encouraging. Please go ahead and like and share. Also, if you're a new subscriber, go ahead and subscribe to this channel before the end of this video. Okay, thank you again and welcome to my channel. So in one of the things I want to talk about today is the law of intentionality in the aspect of growth. Now, I also want you to understand that there are growth gap traps that we have set ourselves in, and these are inhibiting, these growth gap traps are inhibiting our growth. So I'm just going to go right ahead and mention them. One of them is the assumption gap. Now, we assume that growth happens automatically. The way we were born, we began to grow into an adolescent, from infant to adolescent to becoming an adult. Many of us think that our growth also is going to go in that direction. But no, it doesn't work that way. One thing you need to understand is this: your mental health, your mental growth, your spiritual growth, your physical growth, your financial growth, everything that you want to see growth, you have to be intentional about it. Growth doesn't happen by accident. You have to learn to put in the work. One thing I want you to know is this: that intentionality is very important when you're talking about growth. Okay, no one improves by accident. Personal growth doesn't just happen on its own. The responsibility for your growth is yours to handle. Is 100% yours to handle. So you must ensure that you are working towards improving yourself, growing. But you need to know that it doesn't happen automatically. It takes you to put in the work. Intentionality, intentional, something you do on purpose. It doesn't happen on its own. You have to put in the work. Another growth gap trap is the knowledge gap. Now, for the knowledge gap, a lot of us that has finally identified what we want to do, maybe you've already figured out your purpose, your dream, and the things that you need to do, to achieve. You have a vision of what you want to be. One thing you should do or you should know is that you have to increase your knowledge in that aspect. There is no athlete, no successful lawyer, no successful doctor, no successful businessman or entrepreneurs that happens just like that. They improved on their knowledge. One of the things that puts you ahead in life, especially in your area or field, is your knowledge. What will stand you out from A and the B is your knowledge. You must constantly improve yourself, improve your knowledge in the aspect of, it might cost you to invest. Of course, if you have a mentor or you have some materials that you will need to study to ensure that this is what will help you, are you not going to spend that money? Are you not going to spend the resources that will be needed? Of course you have to. So seek knowledge. Seek knowledge. You can't happen all of a sudden without being knowledgeable. It's going to take you to study. It's going to take you to research. So you definitely have to seek knowledge. The knowledge gap is not an excuse for you not to be what you want to be. So growth entails that you seek knowledge. Now, you must constantly learn and be very consistent, okay? When you're going for that thing you want to be, consistently add to yourself. The next thing is the timing gap. All right, we always begin that this is not the right time to begin. This is not the right time to start what I said I've always wanted to do. This is not the time. It's not the perfect time. I will do it later. I will do it later, not now, later. And many of us have trapped ourselves in that island called later. I like to put it like it's an island. We've grown there. We've expanded ourselves there. We've relaxed. We've found our abode in that island called later. You need to know that time waits for nobody. There's no perfect time to begin to do what you want to do. Start now. Do it today. Stop waiting. I remember as a person, there were times that I second-guessed myself, and that's a fact. That's very true. There were things that I put up for later that I would have done at the time I was supposed to do them, but I didn't do it because I felt it was not the right time. So, what happens? Whether you like it or not, hours, the minutes are counting, the hours are counting, the days are counting. Nothing is waiting for you. The best time to start what you always wanted to start is now. One thing I need you to know is whether you like it or not, the next 2 months is going to happen. The next 1 year is going to come and go. The next 2 years is going to come and go. The next 5 years is going to come and go. Now look at it. You doing nothing in the whole of this time didn't stop the years from coming and passing. But you didn't do that thing you wanted to do. Now, the time came and it passed and you still didn't do it. So you see, time waits for nobody. You can't begin to put away that thing you said you want to do now for later. Do it now. Do it now. The next thing I want to talk about is the mistake gap. Many of us are afraid of making mistakes. You know, I don't see anybody that is successful in what he or she is doing right now in our field. He or she is perfecting right now. That expert that you now see in that particular field made mistakes several times. Anything I decide to involve myself in, and it's something that I really want to do, whether it comes out perfect or not, I would have made sure that I did it. Now, I did it, and then learning from the mistakes. I mean, by the time you do it and you have put it out already, you already put it out. Now, you can now go back to it and see where you made the mistakes. But failing to start something and say you're not going to go ahead and do it because you're afraid of making a mistake is something you don't want to do. Mistakes are bound to happen. There is nothing we do that didn't come out of many mistakes. We know about the way the lights came about. After so many trials, it became perfect. There is nobody that you see that is an expert, like I said, in something today that didn't make mistakes. Even the athlete, the best athlete that you're seeing today, had to get injured several times, had to fail several times. He made several mistakes before he became what he finally became. So having to be afraid of what you want to do because you believe that you're going to make mistake. What if it doesn't turn out right? Is it not better for you to push yourself out there, ensure that you've eventually pushed yourself out there? Whether you stand well, whether you turn out well, it has nothing to do with you. The most important thing is that you have pushed yourself. You have made that thing you want to do. I know how, you see this YouTube video that I'm even making right now. It's not a perfect video. And I'm sure the experts in YouTube video making already knows. They see it and they know. But I know that by the time I keep at this, of course, it's always going to get better. It's always going to get better. because you now learn. That's when the knowledge comes in. You improve on your knowledge. You begin to improve on your knowledge, and you find out that you keeps getting better. You as a human being keeps getting better as well. You will never have to remain on the same spot when you push yourself to do what you always wanted to do, whether you make a mistake or not. So why don't you just go ahead and do it anyways? Okay, so that in the next 5 years you can look back and say, wow, we've actually grown. Look at what we did when we were so years. Look at what we did. Look at the things that we did, and look at how we've turned out. But instead of waiting for the perfect time, or waiting to say that you're not going to do it because you're afraid of making a mistake, then you're not growing. You can't grow that way. The next thing that I want to do is the perfection gap. I want to talk about is the perfection gap. Many of us want it to be perfect. We desire when to find the best way to go ahead and put up what you want to do. Okay, you're looking at a best way. It has to be perfect. I have to find the best way before I start. You're making a mistake. You can't continue like that. You can't continue like that. Start it out. It has nothing to do with whether it is perfect or not. The most important thing is that you are you're growing, and you are going right ahead to do it. Whether it comes out well or not, you're going to push your dream forward and ensure that you bring it out, and ensure that you do it anyways. So the next is the inspiration gap. You see here, you want to, this is very, very interesting, because many of us are always waiting for us to be inspired. You want to wait until you are inspired to do something before you do it. Now that's when discipline come in. You can't always wait till when the feelings come before you do what you've always wanted to do. What if the feelings never come? Because you don't always feel like most times, for those that work 9 to 5, I bet you know that there are some times, of course, there are some times you don't feel like going to work. But you go to work anyways. Why do you go to work? You don't go to work because you felt like going to work. You went to work because you knew, if I didn't go to work, I will not be paid. And of course, you would have some form of memo waiting to be received as soon as you get back to work. So you don't do, when it has to, why don't you learn to approach your gifts, your dreams that way? Why don't you learn to do so when it has to do with your dreams, your visions, things that you want to accomplish? You mustn't feel a certain way, but you must show up. It has nothing to do with your feeling. You must show up. And that's discipline. Discipline does not wait until you feel good. Discipline says, I'm going to do it, whether I feel like doing it or not. So if any of us are always waiting for inspiration, something to motivate you before doing the right thing, then you're going to be waiting forever, because the odds are against you. The odds are against you. The economy is not encouraging you. Okay, we are in Nigeria. When you step out, you see the things that are happening in the country. They are all against you. So you're going to have to make up your mind that whether I feel like doing something or not, you're waiting for that sparkle to come before you do what you've always wanted to do, then you're going to be waiting for a long time. So get right ahead today and ensure that nothing stops you. Nothing inhibits your growth. Remember, the only person that can stand in your way is you. And then when you do this, when you find yourself that, when you come to the realization that the only person that can stop you is you, then you can begin to make conscious changes, intentional changes towards your growth, towards your vision, towards your dreams. All right. So thank you so much for listening today. If you learned something today, I'd like to know in the comment section. Kindly use this opportunity to also share and like this post. God bless you. So until I come your way again, make sure you're growing. God bless you. Bye.